Dr. Shikan. We love when you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So first, just tell us, there are days for a lot of things, right? Why does IVF Day, World IVF Day, matter? What does visibility for IVF and awareness of it do for people who are trying to start a family?
Well, IVF is something to celebrate. It's a medical marvel. It's a breakthrough. And in medicine, it's rare to see something develop so quickly. You know, this was not in existence over 50 years ago. And since then, we've gone from being able to tell patients, okay, there's single-digit success rates when it first came out, to now being able to offer up to 60 to 70% chance of live birth per embryo transferred. So there's been a lot of breakthroughs within the field, a lot of improved technology in the laboratory. We now know how to grow embryos out to a certain stage where we can genetically test them. And that's been able to help people reduce their risk of miscarriage. Now we can freeze them and thaw them reliably and safely, so we can help people preserve their fertility. And that's so important as we see more and more women starting to have children at a later age in life.
Why is it that the science has evolved so quickly? How is that possible?
I think that it's a lot of clinics and the labs and the embryologists that work in the labs really being at the forefront and pushing the needle forward, because we want better success rates for our patients. And so it's one of those rare moments in medicine and science where clinical care and these scientific revolutionary breakthroughs go hand in hand. And we're able to adapt new technologies quite rapidly.
Wow. I know there are a lot of misconceptions around IVF, or even just a lot of confusion. I have actually a lot of friends in my life who have become pregnant with IVF, and even trying to explain it to parents or talking about it, just someone from a different generation, is a little tough sometimes. What are some of these misconceptions?
Well, there's a lot of fear surrounding misconceptions because of the way IVF used to be, especially when there were lower success rates. They were putting back multiple embryos at a time. So yes, there were higher rates of twins and triplets, and those were higher risk pregnancies. But now, because the success rates are so much higher, we're doing it in a safer way. We're using one embryo at a time. A lot of people think, okay, you're taking multiple eggs out during the egg retrieval, which is the first part of the process. This might put me into menopause earlier. I'm going to run out of eggs, or is this going to cause infertility later down the line? And I always tell patients that is absolutely not true, and something that people should not worry about. But the big one is worrying about the risk of cancer. And I want to reassure everyone that we have tons of data now where people have been followed in registries up until age 50, and they've gone through multiple egg retrievals, and there's no link between breast cancer and going through IVF.
And the concern there is just sort of the rush of hormones that you take at the time.
Right,
but
because you're stimulating the ovaries and you're producing more estrogen, but it's a really transient rise that only lasts for about 2 weeks at the most.
Tell us about some of the difficulties, the challenges, the threats to IVF.
Well, we've seen it a lot in the headlines in recent years. There's a lot of misconceptions, right? And it comes down to ideologies. The first part of IVF is stimulating the ovaries and getting multiple eggs out of the body and putting them in the lab with sperm and trying to create as many embryos as we can. And anyone who's gone through infertility knows that human reproduction is extremely inefficient, right? So when you ovulate one egg each cycle, there's maybe a 15% chance, depending on age, of it actually turning into a pregnancy. So IVF is trying to rectify that inefficiency, but it involves needing to create multiple embryos. And most eggs won't turn into an embryo or a baby. So people are scared because a lot of people think about an egg that's fertilized being a human life, but we know it takes a lot of eggs to get to a baby. And so there's a lot of conflicting views and opinions on that. There's this new movement called restorative reproductive medicine where they're saying, IVF doctors are pushing people into IVF too quickly. And really there's all these other things that they're not doing, but that's actually not true. And it's not rooted in science. So it's really important to be having these conversations, raising awareness, and being educated in the way we think about IVF.
You have been part of so many people's pregnancy journeys and them growing their families. What's the best part for you?
The best part is making that phone call and telling them you've overcome infertility and you're finally pregnant. That is the best part of my day, and it's what keeps me going.
Yeah, she shares a lot of it on social too, so check it out. Dr. Lucky, thank you so much. Always great to see you. Love you. Thanks for being here.